Hey there, and welcome to Pro Tools 110 Exercise 7 from the 2022 ebook edition. So, yeah, there it is right there. Exercise 7, Mini Gauntlet number 2. So, looks like this chapter is all about, lots of little stuff. 6 and 7 are all about lots of little but very important things. Looks like chapter 7 is all about the grid, exploring the smart tool, exploring fades, learning more about audio suite, folder tracks, and track comping, and a few other little things too. Jeez Louise. So let's see what the exercise is about. As I've said before, you should have this in your documents folder. If not, on this first page of the exercise, if you go to this link right here, it will take you to a page where you can download everything you need for this exercise. All right, so let's get started. We are going to open up the exercise 7 PTX file. So I always just go straight to the folder myself. So here we go. Pro Tools 110. Exercise 7, right there. Double click on it, and it should open up. There we go. Okay, let's see real quick. I actually was screwing around with it a little bit. So, what it should look like is... Hold on one second. Okay, here it is. As you can see, it is a blank edit window, but if you look over here, it looks like there are some tracks. But remember, these little grayed out buttons here, this lets you know that the tracks are hidden. If you click on them, they will unhide. But right now, just so you know, we've opened up this session. There are 5 tracks, but they are just hidden right now. Okay. So now let's go over to the book. Okay. In the mini gauntlet, some of the directions will specify that you use shortcuts to do the job as quickly as possible. So that's right. At the end of chapter 7, you'll see there are a lot of shortcuts. This is a big shortcut chapter. And shortcuts are a big deal to knowing how to use Pro Tools, because when you're working with people, they want you to get the work done fast. Keyboard shortcuts helps that happen. And if you take the Pro Tools certification exam, there are going to be some shortcut questions. So, good to know. So this is all in the exercise right here, if you want to look at that. We're just going to skip through that because it's just a list. So moving clips. So in this section, you'll snap clips to the timeline of a track in a few different ways. Okay, so let's see if we're supposed to do anything first. Okay, cool. Uh-oh, scroll too fast. Gotta love the ebook. If you scroll too fast, it just goes out of control. So the first thing we want to do is save it. Save as with your initials. Boom, there we go. Second thing, see there's markers up here. We are to recall memory location number 1. You'll see an empty track with 3 marker lines. Okay, so let's go up to Window, Memory Locations. Make sure it's open. Here is your memory locations window. Here's memory locations number 1. Let us double click on it. Actually, just don't have to single click on it. And when you, as you can see, it has opened up this track for effects. So the reason it was hidden is because when this memory location was made, they made it in, they hid it. But they hid it, and then they checked track visibility before they saved the memory location. Quick review of memory locations. It's not only just to, you know, designate spots that you need to go back to edit, but it's also can, you can tell your session, I want to make sure it's zoomed in at this level at this memory location. I want to make sure it's zoomed out at this level at this memory location. Or I want to make sure that this track is invisible at this memory location. That sort of a thing. So there we go. We just clicked on the memory location number 1, and it basically brought it back. So let's see what's next. Check to make sure follow main timescale is checked in the grid value pop-up menu. Change your grid value to clips and markers. Okay, so follow main timescale, yes, but we want to choose clips and markers right here. There we go. So now, using shortcuts, change to absolute grid mode. And you're like, what shortcut is that? Well, if you go up to this page below, F4, and then you repeatedly press F4 to switch the different grid modes. And we want to go to absolute grid mode. So F4, sorry. So I'm hitting F4 over and over again right here. And it's switching between the grid modes. We want absolute grid, which is that. Okay. Drag the zap effect clip so it snaps to each of the marker lines. When you're done, you should have 3 clips on the timeline, each at a marker position. Got it. So what we've done is, just a quick review, and they talk about this in the chapter. Our grid, we're setting it to clips and markers. Here are our markers. And we're in grid mode. So if we drag a clip into here, it's going to snap to the grid, but our grid is defined by the markers. So watch what happens. Which one are we doing? We're doing the zap effect. See how it snaps to that or that? Because we've chosen clips and markers. So we want one there, and one there. Pretty cool. All right. Okay, so now in the main counter, choose minutes and seconds as your main time scale. So here is our counter. We'll click on this. It's already set at minutes and seconds, but just make sure it's checked. Got it. Note that the grid value will change to 1 second when you do that. So when you change the counter to minutes and seconds, then your grid value will change to minutes and seconds. And it's down to 1 second. So before we're at clips and markers, right? But then we went here to say minutes and seconds, and then this switches back to minutes and seconds. Okay. Okay, let's see. Bars and beats. So let's continue. Recall memory location number 2. You'll see 2 mono audio tracks. So, window. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Memory locations. Oh, I just unchecked it. Let's check it. There we go. Here's number 2. Let's click on it. Boom. Now it's popped up, and we see 2 mono audio tracks. So, what to do next? Change your main time scale to bars and beats and start playback. All right. All right. Got a little groove going on. Okay, let's see what else. Continue playback, click out of the selected area, and then select the clip on the snare track. Okay, so I've selected out of there. And then we're going to select the snare. And now we will, let's see here, using shortcuts, change to the time grabber tool. Okay, so this is our grabber. As you have learned in the past couple chapters, these tools have little sub-tools within them. If you click and hold on it, you'll see there are different ones. By default, it is on the time grabber, which means that when you grab it, you can change its place in time. There are other options as well, but that's what they want you to use the time grabber right now. So that's what we'll do. Using shortcuts, suspend grid mode and drag the snare clip until it's positioned at 10-240. So remember, when you're in grid mode and you need to do a quick slip, you don't have to click on slip. You just click on Command or Control on Windows machines, and when you hold down Command, you can move a clip and it'll be temporarily in slip mode as long as you are holding down the Command or Control key. So, and as you can see up here where it says Start, it's showing me where I'm moving it. So we want to put it around 10-2. There we go. Oh, I'm sorry. No, 10-240. Okay, let's try that again. That's good enough. Okay. So now what we'll do is change to relative grid mode, and we'll go up here and we hit F4, or we just click on it. There it is. And now we will, let's see, using shortcuts, copy the clip on the snare track. That's just Command C. And using shortcuts, change to the selector tool. That's one of the, I believe that's, was it F6 or F7? And using the selector tool, click at 10-4-0-0-0. So using shortcuts, paste the clip. Okay, so we're in relative grid. Then we're going to make sure this is selected with the grabber tool, copy it, and then change to the selector tool and then click at 10-4. So selector tool, and then let's see here. Where's 10-4? There it is, right there. All right. So now what we're going to do is paste it. There it is. We've just pasted it. Oh, that's pretty cool. Using the selector tool and shortcuts, trim the end of each clip on the kick track so that each clip is exactly 1/8 note in duration. So let's see here. Well, as you can see, our grid is set at 1/8 note. So each one of these grid lines signifies 1/8 of a note. So we want each kick to only be 1/8 of a note long. So this right here where my mouse is doing, that's 1/8 of a note. So what we could do is take the selector and then you hit the delete key. Selector, delete, selector, delete, selector, delete. Okay, now we could stop playback. Okay, so what we've done so far is basically just a lot of little shortcuts and using memory locations and shortcuts to just do some, little common tasks that you'll do in Pro Tools. Okay, edit tools. Now let's switch gears and work with edit tools. Recall memory location number 3, and you'll see a mono audio track with 1 clip of dialogue. And then we're going to switch to the slip edit mode. Okay, here is memory location number 3. Click once on it. There it is. There is our mono audio track. And we want to go to slip mode. I'm here so I could just click on it. But if we want to see what the shortcut is, it is one of the function keys. F2. F2 will go to slip mode. Basically, your F1 through F8 switches between your edit modes and your tools. So good practice is just kind of press each one and see what lights up, and do that a few times, and then you'll probably remember in the future. Okay, so using shortcuts, switch to slip edit mode. You got it. Boom. And then what we're going to do is switch to the separation grabber tool. So here's our grabber. Click and hold on it, and you see your other grabber options. So we're going to do grabber separation. Now it's like a little grabber with scissors. Okay, so using shortcuts to activate the smart tool. So we've said what type of grabber tool we want to use. Now we can activate the smart tool by clicking on this little bracket up here. So now we still have access to all 3 tools, but we have customized our grabber. Now, just so you know, we could do the same thing, if I wanted to have the loop tool as well, then I would have access to, as you can see, the loop. So just a cool little thing you can do before you go into smart tool mode. You can customize your grabber and your trim to the type of grabber and trim you want, and then go into smart tool mode. Okay, so using the smart tool, select from roughly 31 seconds on the timeline to 35. So we're going to select between 31 and 35, and this will include them. Okay, so remember the smart tool. What's cool about it is I have access to all 3 trim, selector, and grabber tools depending on where my mouse is in the clip. So as you can see, my mouse is hanging out in the upper area of the clip, and I've got the selector tool highlighted. When you move down to the lower area of the clip, look, it switches to the grabber. Selector, grabber, selector, grabber. Then, whenever you trim, you're always at the edge of the clip, right? So when you go over the edge of the clip, you can trim. Edge, trim. And then another cool thing with the smart tool is when you go up to the corners, it turns into a little fade. It lets you basically apply a fade. See that right there? Pretty cool. The smart tool is totally rad. But what we want to do is we want to select between 31 and 35 seconds. So let's switch to minutes and seconds so we can see what we're doing. Okay, so here's 31 and 35. There we go. So it looks like we're going to do something to this middle part here. Using the separation grabber, drag the selected area to around the 40-second mark on the timeline. Okay, so if we were in the just regular grabber, then if I grab this, because it's a middle area, it would just grab the whole clip. But when we're in separation grabber mode, we could select an area first, and then the grabber will just move that selected area rather than the whole clip. So that's what we're doing here. So take this, click and hold. Look at that. Pretty damn awesome. I never use that, but I totally should. So we're moving that to about right there. Boom. Okay, then what? Now we are going to, excuse me, change our nudge value to 10 milliseconds. So let's go over here. Remember, we're in minutes and seconds mode here, and so our nudge, our nudge value, which is down here, we want to make sure it is on minutes and seconds. And now we'll choose 10 milliseconds. This will allow us to nudge a clip 1 second, 500 milliseconds, 100 milliseconds, 10 milliseconds, or 1 millisecond in value left or right. So we want 10 milliseconds. Boom. Okay. Using shortcuts and without moving the clip, nudge the dragged clip's contents so that the dialogue starts at the beginning of the clip. Ooh, that's exciting. This is a very super cool part of using nudge. So, just real quick refresher. As you can see, this clip is selected. And I can use my shortcuts to nudge it, yes. And what you do is, if you have the numeric keypad, you can hit plus or minus. If you don't have a numeric keypad, then you click basically the comma and period keys. Watch. See, but that's nudging the whole clip. What they want us to do is nudge just this part. We like the length of this clip. We like the length of this clip, but we just want the information inside the clip to start at the beginning. We want this clip to be the same size. We just want this bit in here to get nudged to the beginning. So let's do it. Okay, so I just double-checked something. There's a little bit of pause there, which you may or may not have noticed. But I want to show you something. I am on a laptop. You might be on a laptop as well. On page 288 of the book, it says that, yes, you can use right here, you can use the comma and period keys to nudge. However, what we want to do is we want to nudge a selection, not a clip, but a selection, which involves using modifier keys like Command, Control, and Option. It says right here that if you don't have a numeric keypad on your computer, you could still nudge up to a point. We're going to use modifier keys, which will only work when you have a numeric keypad. So let's go back to the exercise and see what I'm talking about. So right here, we want to select this part of this clip and nudge it. And normally to do that, you would hold down the Shift key and the plus or minus key on the numeric keypad. If you don't have a numeric keypad, you won't be able to do this part of the exercise, unfortunately, because there are some aspects of Pro Tools. There are so many shortcuts in Pro Tools that you have to have a numeric keypad to use some of them, and this is one of those situations. If I select the whole clip, I can use comma and period to nudge it. But if I want to just nudge a selection of a clip, I would have to hold down Shift and comma or period to nudge this selection to the beginning of the clip boundary. You can't do that unless you have a numeric keypad because it will only work with the plus and minus keys. So unfortunately, this part of the exercise, if you don't have a numeric keypad, you won't be able to do. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to do this and then move this back to there. That accomplishes the same goal. Kind of a bummer, but again, this is one of the things with Pro Tools. There are so many things that you can do with it that you actually ideally need to use a full-size keyboard with a numeric keypad in order to unlock literally everything you can do. So now we're going to do some track comping. Oh, wait. Hold on a second. Trim the silent audio from the end of the dragged clip. So here we go. So it should look like that. And then we want to create fade-ins and fade-outs. So hold on a second. Let's see. For the silent portions of the first two clips. So we did this. And for these guys, we're going to create fade-ins and fade-outs. So when we're in the Smart tool, remember, when you move up to the upper left corner, left click, hold, and drag. We've got a fade in. Upper right corner, left click, hold, and drag. Boom. Fade in, fade out. Let's do the same thing here. Boom. Save it. All right, last but not least, track comping. Recall memory location 4. Okay, memory locations. Number 4. Look at that. Okay. Then, using shortcuts, create a new playlist on the track and name it comp. Okay. So, remember, this is where our playlists are located. This little arrow right there, the playlist selector. You click on that, this is where you select or create a new playlist. But there is a shortcut for that. So, let's see what that shortcut is. Create a new edit playlist. Control and backward slash. Wow, so specific. All right, let's do it. So on this track, we select it. Control backward slash. Boom, look at that. And we're going to call it let's see. And name it comp. Got it. There we go. Okay. So now, change your track view to playlists. You'll see Spanish, Japanese, and English. Each of these playlists has a clip counting from 1 to 10 in that playlist language. Okay. So, waveform. Now we want to actually see what our playlist, what's going on with our actual playlists on this track. Boom! Look at that. Let's just close this window. Okay, look at this. We've got Spanish, we've got Japanese, and we've got English. And this is their main playlist right here. So we're going to choose which playlist is going to graduate to exist in the main track area. So solo the English playlist. Using the selector tool, select the first number 1 and paste the selection to the target main playlist. Okay, so here is the English one. We're going to solo it, and let's hear what that sounds like.
1, 2, 3.
All right, so we want to select number 1. Just selected it. And let's see, are we supposed to be in grid mode? I feel like we're supposed to be in grid mode, but it doesn't say, so let's just stay in, slip mode. Okay, using shortcuts, paste the selection to the target main playlist. In my opinion, this is the best way to do it. You see that up arrow right there? Copy selection to target playlist. That's the easiest way to do it because we're right here. But if you want to be even faster, let's see what the shortcut is. Shift Option Up arrow. Shift Option Up arrow. Okay, so I can click on this button, or same thing, Shift Option or Alt if you're on Windows, and then your up arrow. There you go. So I've just copied this to our main playlist. Okay. Repeat the process, alternating the language that you paste to the comp track. So let's go to Japanese. Solo that.
D.
All right, so take this. I'm just gonna hit the up arrow. See, does the same thing. 3 is Spanish. 4 is English. So here is Spanish. This is 3. 4 is English. Shift Option up arrow. 5 is Japanese. 6 is Spanish. 5 is Japanese. 6 is Spanish. 7 is English. 8 is Japanese. 7 is English. Shift Option up arrow. 8 is Japanese. Shift Option up arrow. 9 is Spanish. 10 is English. 9 is Spanish. And 10 is English. And I'm going to use my preferred method, clicking the up arrow. Boom. So what we've done is we had 3 different takes in 3 different languages. And now I have this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Love it. So cool. This is such a good way to do it. Change your track to waveform and check your work. If it plays back as you expect, you are done.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Sounding
7,
good.
8, 9, 10.
Boom. And that is it. So what do you do to turn this into me? Well, this completes the exercise. So let's see if this will do it. What I would like you to do, well, actually, I guess that doesn't matter. This part was probably the hardest part. So what I would like to do is I would like to see you open up your playlists so I could see it look like this. Actually, no, you don't have to do that. Just keep it on waveform. Just take a picture of this. I'll be able to see that you comped it. Send me that, and that completes this exercise.